Greetings, YouTube. So, once again, social conservatives are getting their way in the state of New Hampshire, as they have been getting their way across America. There's a bill in New Hampshire at the moment. I actually don't know if by the time you see this, it'll have been signed into law or not. Um, about giving parents the right to have information about their child's pronouns or gender identity, whether at school. Now, it isn't uncommon for someone who is experiencing some form of gender confusion or a gender identity shift when they realize that they are not the gender that they were assigned at birth, or that they may be non-gender or gender fluid, to discuss this and come out with this to their friends at school and sometimes to a trusted teacher. But now, if this bill goes into law, the schools would be required to inform the parents about this information. Now, let me make this really darn clear. If a parent doesn't know their child's pronouns, doesn't know how their child thinks of themselves on a gender spectrum, how they express their gender, that parent is the problem. Flat out. They are hiding information from the parent because the parent is the problem. Because the kids know that the parent will only be happy if the child has a certain very narrow definition of gender. If they were assigned, girl at birth, then they must adhere to that particular social narrative of what is a girl. And if it was boy, then they must be a boy, even if that does not actually align with who they are. And it's heartbreaking to me that there are kids who are going to have to hide this from their parents until they're free of their parents' influence. Or of course, the parents just decide to throw the kid away, because that does happen in America. Parents just kick kids out because they're not what the parent thinks they should be. Now, I'm not going to hide the fact I'm not a parent, but I remember what it was like to be a kid. And I know lots of people who have gone through experiences where they did not match their parents' ideals and the trauma that it entailed and how they had to hide who they were for a very long time. Sometimes, it could be on because of a political spectrum or religious spectrum. Could it be their sexuality or their gender? It could be a conflation of all kinds of different things. Look up the word intersectionality if you want to understand that. And it can really burden a person with issues that they will very well lug around with them for decades, because their parents did not raise them in an environment where they could just be themselves. Whether you believe the same faith as your parents, or you have the same political agenda as your parents, or you have the gender expression your parents thought you were going to have, or the sexual orientation your parents thought you were going to have, shouldn't matter. Good parents will just accept their child and want their child to be happy and healthy, want their child to be able to be who they are to their true self. Bad parents will expect a child to fit into a very narrow little box. This is who you are. This is how you will behave. This is what you'll think. These are the words you'll use, the clothing you'll wear. So this is nothing to do with the child. This is all about parents desperately wanting to control things that are none of their goddamn business. It isn't your business what your child's gender is. It's their business. The only gender you should be in charge of is your own. And if you are a cisgender person, then you have a whole lot of things that were lifted off your shoulder. You're never going to have to deal with the burden of being trans in America or the world at large. And you should be happy about that fact. But this kind of law right here, this is gonna break up families. This is going to get kids verbally abused. This is going to get kids physically abused. This is going to drive kids into deeper mental illness. This is going to destroy lives. And that's what social conservatives want. They want everyone terrified to ever be their true self, because the social conservative can't handle a world where people behave in a manner they don't like or understand. That they are so inflexible, so incapable of looking at the world through any other eyes, that they're willing to punish people for failing to live up to their personal view of the universe. And that's warped and twisted. It's morally and ethically bankrupt. If you had a child and you didn't understand that your goal is to love that child, regardless of what they look like, or what pronouns they use, or how they dress, or who they love, then you shouldn't have been a parent. For me, it's really that simple. A good parent creates an environment of solid discipline, high acceptance levels, high tolerance for the child's ability to explore themselves, and then teaches them how to be safe, how to be healthy, how to be happy. Bad parents back laws like this and want the teachers and school administrators to think on their kids, to inform on their children. They want to turn the school system into another branch of the Stasi. So to all the parents that may view this, that desperately want their kid to be something they aren't, get some therapy.